This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
Hey all you heroes, hawks, heralds, crows, pirates, and wardens. Welcome to the Dragon Age Lorecast, where we unpack, discuss, and galaxy brain about all the lore behind the Dragon Age series.
We are so excited to bring you this podcast. Every episode, we'll be talking about a different topic in the Dragon Age universe. From character deep dives to exalted marches and elven gods, we will cover it all.
There will be spoilers. And always remember, swooping is bad.
Hello and welcome to the Dragon Age Lorecast, where we talk about Dragon Age and its lore. I am one of your hosts, Austin, also known as Teacup.
And I'm your other host, Shelby or Shecup. So we are talking about which character we most want to see in Veilguard, which comes out as of the release of this episode in 1 week, which is insane. Actually insane to say. Truly, I don't know how the wait of 10 years has just come down to 1 week. So that's crazy. Just to name a few characters that may appear in Dragon Age, the Veilguard, that have appeared in previous games, whether they're companions, whatever. We don't have to stick to just companions for this topic. But some off the top of my head that are alive, not necessarily quantum, I think is the term. So like Isabella is still alive no matter what you do. Dorian is still alive no matter what you do. Liliana is still alive no matter what you do. Cassandra, Fenris, I think. There's several. So it's kind of open up to whatever y'all want to do. But before we get into that, let's go around and introduce ourselves. So I'm going to let Austin do that.
All right, so we'll start on my screen. We'll start Capricorn Tower.
Hello, this is Capricorn Tower, or Nick.
And we have the Crimson Knight.
Hello, I'm Steven, or the Crimson Knight.
And then LVCC13.
Hello, you guys. I am LVCC13, or Lizzie.
And then we have Carwin.
Hey guys, it's Wild Kiwi or Kierwin.
And then the Wesbotron.
Hello, I am the Wesbotron.
Yeah. So we've got our topic today. So who wants to go first?
Okay, I'm going to volunteer because no one spoke up. Definitely, outside of already getting to see Varric, Fenris is my answer. And I mostly want to see him just come through some strange portal as soon as Solus hurts Bianca and give the biggest death glare to Solus that he can possibly do and just see what happens. Because I feel like not only would Fenris want to play house with all of these elven gods that are coming, but he could also dole out some good punishment to Solus for being so mean to Varric.
I agree. I think Fenris is going to be one of my number ones that I really want to see in Veilguard, especially because I romance Hawk. But I think it would be really interesting to see like where Fenris is mentally if you leave Hawk in the Fade. Not that I would ever do that. I can't even watch the video of that happening.
That's blasphemy.
I tried one time and I don't cry. Like I just started bawling. Like no, couldn't do it. But the other person that I would really love to see in Veilguard would be Isabella. Because we're going to Ravane, because we know shenanigans have been happening since Inquisition. I would really love to see, especially since we could be a Lord of Fortune, I would love to see how Isabella reacts to a Lord of Fortune Rook. Like, are we somehow friends with Isabella from before? Do we know of her pretty well? I would be very curious to see how that interaction would go, especially since Varric's going to be hanging around at least for a little bit. I want that party banter back. Dang it! It was so funny.
Yeah, I also just think Dragon Age needs to do Isabella better after the comics.
Which we've discussed many a time on this podcast in the past month. But I do think it would be really fun to see Isabella as an admiral, which is what she's supposedly styling herself as now. So I think that would be awesome.
With her very fancy hat. I want to see the very fancy hat. I know it's in the Inquisition multiplayer, but I have not played the game enough to actually have access to her in the multiplayer part.
Is the question the companion or just any Dragon Age character? All right. I'm going with the one, the only, Knight Commander Meredith. I want to know what she's up to. I want to see it. I want to punch the bitch in the face.
Isn't she a hunk of rock right now? That would hurt.
Right.
It didn't stop me with the rock wraiths.
Fair.
Wes liked my answer.
I did. It was great. 10 out of 10.
I almost said Anders, but
What could possibly have gone wrong?
That's how I feel about that. Yikes. But anyway, who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go next. The character I would most like to see in Veilguard is Shale. Because we know in the epilogue of Dragon Age Origins, she mentions that she's going to travel to Teventer to see if she can get changed back into a dwarf. So, one, it'd be interesting to see if she was able to accomplish that. And two, even if she didn't, she'd still, as far as we're aware, still be in Teventer. And possibly even in Cal Shirok.
Okay, so you're touching on my passions here because I want to go to Cal Shirok so bad, and they did release a map, that has it on there. So it's stylized. It's not like an in-game map or anything. So we'll see. But with the Shale thing, we know that she survives because she's in Asunder, which we just covered. But if she does appear, they would have to recast her voice actor because the original voice actor passed away a few years ago. So I wonder if they would do that, how they would do that, how they would handle that, just in general. Let's go to our mid-break, and that's Austin. And then we'll come back and do the rest. And if we have extra time, we can talk about more because I'm sure that we have more that we could probably discuss. So
what is this? A new book? All this shit is weird. Oh, Verk, that is a terrible title. What are you even thinking?
That book you were reading this morning, Assyrian Spear. I don't think he had a spear in the legends.
He does in this one. Read the description.
Andraste knelt before no man but her maker, but she hadn't counted on the Archon Hessarian. Can Hessarian penetrate the tight-knit defenses of the warrior prophetess? Will she be prepared to face the full blast of his power? Wait a minute. Isabella, this is a vulgar thing.
You want to borrow it?
No!
You sure? It has pictures.
Not listening, I'm not listening.
Varric, does Hawk ever autograph books?
Why? Doesn't your copy of The Tale of the Champion have a big hole in it?
Yes, but it could also have Hawk's signature on it.
All right, welcome to the middle of the show where we take time to thank our patrons. Thank you to all of our patrons who support the show, like our patrons here and all of our patrons there. Special thank you to our first patrons, Genesis and Lisa M. If you'd like to join us and support us on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/DALorecast. Another great way to support us is to leave us ratings and reviews on Apple or Spotify. If you leave us a 5-star review or a 5-star rating and some kind words in a review or comment, we will read it out on a future episode of the show. And today I have a comment from our Isabella character deep dive, and this is from Lee Villa. That's what I'm going to say. It says, such a fan of this podcast. I started listening back in July and I finally caught up. It felt weird to listen to the most recent episode only for it to end with no more in the playlist since I'm finally up to date. I'm left alone for the most of the day at my job, so this podcast has been a great companion during those long 10-hour days. I've been a fan of Dragon Age for over 10 years now, and I'm still learning so much about the lore. Thanks to y'all. Thank you so much for all of you do. Thank you for that great review, and we are glad that we can help you get through the workday. And then lastly, come hang out with us on Discord, where you can find almost all of us. Actually, all of us. I don't know why I said almost. You can find all of us on the Discord. And yeah, Cups Podcasting More Discord. Come hang out. Come talk about Dragon Age. Come share your crazy theories. All right, let's get back into it.
The past years have been so busy. We have earned at least a few moments of rest. A calm night out sounds... Oh, bravo! Bravo! Was the woman in gold playing a king? Who was the man in feathers? Oh, it's all very simple. The first actor's mask is determined by... well, I will lend you the program guide. But tell me, did you enjoy the performance? That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. Truly. That part with the glittery, and they actually set fire to... Yes, I truly enjoyed it. Then I call tonight a great success.
I've got some of it written down now.
Give it here. Her breasts strained against the leather jerkin like two wild stallions corralled against their will. She pounced, the smooth moves of a jungle cat, and locked her thighs around Donnick's waist. He...
What?
Nothing. What is that?
Isabella just thought she'd celebrate your love affair with a written dedication.
It's friend fiction. I do it out of love.
I will never, ever be clean again.
You fear barbarians will swoop down upon you.
Yes, swooping is bad.
So, welcome to the back, and we're here. So who wants to go next? Still, the question is, what Dragon Age character, NPC, companion, advisor, whatever you want to classify it, would you want to see in Dragon Age? The Veilguard.
I've got one. This is fun. So I don't know how the importing of world states will go in this, if there even is that anymore. Because in my playthrough, a hawk was banished to the Shadow Realm, right? So who I want to see come back is I want to see a pissed off Carver come for my head. Because the Grey Wardens are also coming back to Veilguard, right?
Yes.
So if he's a Grey Warden in my universe, I could see an interaction there being fun.
Yeah, how much of your Inquisitor though is headcanon versus actual?
Oh, the thing that I sent all those years ago was just me to piss off Shelby.
Well, it worked.
Great story, though. That would be a really great way to redeem Carver's character, honestly. Although I like Carver. He's definitely a petulant middle child, but so am I, so I kind of get it.
Carver gets all this hate for no reason.
Thing.
I do think the Hawk sibling does have some more potential for like the story. Whereas like I think Hawk themselves is kind of done for me at least. I don't know. I'm like done with Hawk. They can go and retire and go far away from all the trouble that people keep dragging them into.
I mean, what's he gonna do?
Except
Just ruin Dragon Age Veilguard this time? He's already ruined 2 other games.
I mean, it's Hawk, so he might.
Ugh.
I'll go. I figure I would do a little echo for Isabella, just because I like her. I want to see more. I want to expand on her character. Also, she'll be fully in her MILF era, and we all know that she's going to be living the dream um, at that point in her life. So, love that for her. Um, but, you know, I really want to see Sarah again. I don't think we will probably, but there's still a lot of mystery around Sarah's character. Um, that I don't think has been resolved. Like, yes, there's sort of like the big pie in the sky theories about her being connected to Andruel and blah blah blah. But also it could just be as simple as that she's a hedge mage or something like that. And I would like to see her reaction to the elven gods coming back. I bet she would lose her fucking mind, which would be humorous at least. Um, and then we're kind of getting small lore tidbits about fade touched people. And I wonder if that applies to Sarah. So I don't know. I think there's potential. She definitely has room to grow as a character as the youngest Inquisition member. So seeing her grow up from that while still maintaining her sort of manic spirit it would be fun to see.
I would love to see her running the Red Jennies, like completely in charge of the organization and like directing them even more than she is in Inquisition. That would just be amazing. I would love to see that.
You know who's really in charge, though, if that happens? Dagna. Because with Sarah comes Dagna, which I would also love to see because I love Dagna.
Anyway, I have a lot of answers. I would love to see Sten, even though I'm a little fearful for his life and where he would be. But I think my real number one answer is Dorian, and I kind of am taking it for granted that he will appear. Like for me, that's already canon. I don't know if it's true or not, but it just makes sense. Like why wouldn't he show up? It's literally where he's at, unless he's been assassinated. Unfortunate. But I do have another thought, and I think I floated this on an episode a while back. Um, so Archon Radonis from the comics, he wears like all teal clothing, and it's the exact same color scheme as Neb. So I really want him to show up so I can just like figure out what the deal with that theory is. Like, is she his bastard child? Is it just a coincidence, which I find hard to believe? Like, what's the deal there?
Yeah, I do want to know those answers. Queso, do you want to answer? Here you go. Oh, now you're shy. Okay. So yeah, I guess
So says Warden's Mabari.
yes, the Mabari. But I honestly just I know that like with the Griffin, maybe we'll have like some dog content because everyone knows that when you have a companion animal, they're just a dog. It's just everything's a dog. But I want a Mabari back. I want
Agreed.
I want a Mabari that I can name after my own real life dogs, and it's like they're playing the game with us. Yeah, if you have more than one answer, feel free to share.
You know, I also really want to see Sandal again because, especially since this whole fade touched thing is a thing, I want to know how Sandal got is going to be affected by this, just because of how they kind of were making his character in the first 2 games, and then he drops off the face of Thetis in Inquisition. Rude. So I would really love to see what the deal is with him, if they can tell us more, if they're going to.
For me, someone else that I'd like to see is, I cannot remember his name for the life of me, but it's the half elf that we help in Dragon Age 2, who turns out to be a dreamer. What's his name?
Fainreal.
Fainreal, yes. Thank you. But because we know he goes to Deventer too, and as far as I know, we don't know what happens to him.
Well, he's either in Deventer or he's deceased.
Yeah, well, I mean, given what we know with the Rite of Tranquility being able to be reversed, it is absolutely possible that he is just in Deventer, period. So he is one of the ones that I'm like, I feel like he could show up. For sure. Another one I think about is pretty much any of the characters from the Mage Killer and Knight Errant comics, other than like Sir Hawthorne. Like, I feel like he's going to be too old, but any of those main characters I feel like are totally fair game.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. The only other ones that I have are like people that I know now at least are confirmed to be in the game, from characters from Teventer Knights and other things, like just in general. But we know they're in the game because spoilers, so I'm not going to say, just in case anyone listening has been staying off.
I think we could see Josephine, because I think it's canon that she always goes back to Antiva at the end. It just differs on like whether she like hires crows or not for her galleons or whatever. So I think we might be able to see Josephine again when we hit up Antiva and do stuff over there.
Mm-hmm. Wes put in the chat about from the show Absolution, Tasia. Tasia is a different character. There's some other character that's a similar name to that, but I can't remember. Anyway, Tasia is I also think the main character of Absolution, I can't remember her name.
The show's been out for over a year. I don't remember.
It is like Miriam or something like that.
I'm a little surprised that she's not a companion, to be honest. Like, it didn't even occur to me until just now, because it's been ages since I've watched it. It's been a whole Dragon Age since I've watched the Dragon Age show. Ching.
I think
I'm leaving.
The Shadow Dragons are a good place for her to show up, potentially. Just depending on what's going on. I think we did get confirmation maybe from a developer Q&A that Mayvaris will be in the game as well. So I think that is also strong evidence that Dorian will be in there too, just because they've been working so closely together.
That, and they're not going to trust anyone else to decorate the tower that we're all going to be living in.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of them that could show up. Somebody I'm terrified to see show up is Meryl. Because I feel like if Meryl shows up, she's definitely going to be working with Solus.
But would that necessarily be a bad thing at this point? I don't know. I don't know anymore.
I don't know either. I am really going back and forth.
Are you an egg supporter?
It depends on the playthrough. Gosh.
I've been going back and forth. For the longest time after I did my Solus Mance, I was so very much like, we're going to redeem Solus, like we're going to change his mind. And now after everything that I've seen from the trailers and whatnot, I don't know if that's going to be possible. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I'm scared.
Well, what I'm interested to see if they do this is that if there's any Dalish elves that end up kind of flocking to Gillenon or Gillenane and Elgernon's side, because if they reveal themselves, there's going to be a sizable population, I would imagine, that are like, oh my gosh, our gods are back. We have to help them. And I don't think it's impossible to see Meryl in that group if it happens.
Also, I think that's more likely than her siding with Solus.
Say I am not over the Gillenane kerfuffle. I'm still referring to her as Gillenon. Sorry.
So I've been avoiding spoilers intentionally as much as I can. So I don't know if he has been confirmed or not. But with the crows being in the game, I kind of wonder if we're going to see Zevran at all.
He has not been confirmed.
If we don't, then it's a damn shame.
I would love to see
I
that.
concur.
However, there are many people who killed Zevran in their playthroughs, so I'm not sure if that'll be.
That didn't stop them with Liliana.
No Telerium ghosts. No lyrium ghosts in Dragon Age the Veilguard. That is my wish. But also, Zevran is not dead in my canon world state. So, let's get that. Anyway, secondly, are you sure you want to risk having your boy butchered again by an updated engine?
That's rough.
Yes.
DA2 is a bad time.
I mean, okay, here's what I will say to that. Fair, very fair. However, I am hopeful that with the advancements that have been made, he wouldn't be butchered anymore. That's what I'm hopeful of. So
they've also been spending 10 years on this game as opposed to however little they spent on Dragon Age 2 because it was supposed to be an after game DLC basically.
Yeah, I think they spent like a year working on it or something crazy. So yeah, I feel like
everyone does not look freaking pristine in this game. As in, like, could be walking around in real life if real life was HD. Then what the heck were they doing for 10 years?
Well, we know they were building a multiplayer game for several of those years, right? So there's that. But let's not get into sad reminiscing era. Let's stay in happy Veilguard release era instead.
I refuse.
This is our last patron chat before the game releases, which is crazy. So the next patron chat we have will probably try to stick to light spoilers topics.
I'll have the game beaten by then.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, but not everybody, not all of our listeners will. I know we're probably going to wait like a month or so before we start talking about like really in-depth spoilers, or at least we'll always give warnings. But I guess we only have a few more minutes left, but before we do our little promo section, is there any final thoughts anybody has about the upcoming release? Anything you want to shout out to the listeners before about Veilguard? I don't know.
I've already done my venting about the release. I won't do it again.
That's fine.
I don't know if we have that kind of time.
Yeah, fair.
Why don't we have our character creator yet? How am I supposed to work all day on the 31st and then come home and download the game and then spend 4 hours making my rook before I can even play?
Only 4 hours.
I was being generous.
Oh, don't worry though. The system will be down while you're trying to download it because everybody and their mother is going to be downloading the game.
True.
I'm going to be awake at midnight here because it's going to download at 1 a.m. my time. I'm going to just be awake and ready to make sure that it's going through and cursing the internet gods probably at least twice during all of that.
Dragon Age.
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. The Dragon Age fandom is going to break Steam, at least for us PC players.
Yeah,
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
Because you all don't get a preload.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope, we don't get a preload. It doesn't come out till noon my time. So I have to.
Morning.
So I have to wait until like 5 p.m. to maybe play the game.
And I have to work.
So I think I toyed with the idea of the chaos of just picking the default presets, like when I load into the character creator. Just playing that way.
No.
Just for the chaos.
I'm definitely going to stream when it finally gets it all up. I'm definitely going to stream my initial playthrough and everything of it. So you're going to get to see me ruin my canon universe at least once.
Are you playing it on PC or console?
PC.
Good luck. Have you seen the specs for that? Oh.
I am cautiously optimistic my laptop can handle it. If not, I'm hopefully going to be building a new one soon anyway, because I couldn't bring my nice one that I built. I say me, my brother built it for me. I'm useless with that stuff to Japan. So I have a coworker who builds PCs. So I'm going to ask him to help me build one once I get my contract renewal bonus next year.
If every new game comes out and we need a brand new PC to go along with it, is this the revival of the console wars?
Probably, yeah.
Yes.
At that point, I'll probably switch back over to console.
I just want the game to not crash. That's it.
Same.
That's it. My biggest pet peeve about new games is they just like crash randomly. So I go and I spend $100 in a game and it crashes 6 times in an hour. Well, why would I want to continue playing it? It's a waste of money.
You could always play on console.
I've already bought it for my computer.
I'd have to buy a TV if I was going to play on console, and I'm not paying the TV tax. Yes, Japan has a TV tax.
Anyway, let's wrap up here. So as we wrap up, I want to let everyone go around and let you say your name and plug anything you got going on, where people can find you. So we'll do reverse order this time. So we'll start with the Wesbotron.
Hi, I am on the Discord known as the Couplar, Knight Commander of the server.
This week, anyway.
All mages, run away. And then we'll do Wild Kiwi.
Oh, that's me. Kierwin again, and I really just haunt Discord, so come in and say hi whenever, because that would be great.
And then LVCC13. I did it.
I am LVCC13 or Lizzie. You can find me on Twitch under LVCC13. You can also find my voice in the Avengers audio drama. I play the Wasp, and you can find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and probably some other places that I don't know about.
And then the Crimson Knight.
I'm Steven or the Crimson Knight on Discord.
And then last but not least, Capricorn Tower.
Yep, I'm Capricorn Tower. I just hang out on Discord.
Yeah, so thank you all for being here. We are glad that you could come on the show and share all the thoughts. It's always a blast doing these patron chats. And thank you, all of you who listen to the Dragon Age Lorecast. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Dragon Age Lorecast. You can find us on Twitter at DA Lorecast.
If you have any lore questions, topics to unpack, or side character suggestions, join our Cups Podcasting and More Discord server. It's easily the best place on the internet. You can also support us financially through our Patreon. You can find us there on patreon.com/Dragon Age Lorecast.
The Dragon Age Lorecast is part of the Robots Radio Network. For more information about the Robots Radio Network, join the Discord server via the link in our episode description.
If you enjoyed the show or learned something new today, please subscribe, leave us a review, and join the Patreon. And if you enjoyed our intro and outro music, give a big thank you to Pipeman Studios. Thank you, Pipeman. Thanks again for listening to the Dragon Age Lorecast. We'll see you next time.
How well do you know your video game lovers?
Have you ever wondered how your video game bays stack up against all the other delectable digital dates?
I'm Genesis, the girl whose motto in life is love, laugh, tequila. And on Two Girls, One Ship, we analyze, rate, and review all that the world of video game romances has to offer.
And I'm Vervada, the hopeless romantic cat lady and lifelong gamer.
But you should know that our podcast centers on character and romance analysis and doesn't shy away from exploring the fun of physical connection.
Or from the deep emotional connections built between two characters, using specific in-game dialogue and the overall narrative journey. So join the Two Girls, One Ship shipsters, and remember,
beauty is in the eye of the controller.